Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Andrew Yang and the Iowa caucus results delay. Oh boy, this was tough. This is a really tough situation. It was real. I think more than anything, it was really discouraging. So I absolutely love politics. I'm totally dialed in on politics. I pay a lot of attention to politics. I listen to podcasts every week about politics. I listen to people on YouTube about politics. I read infographics about politics. I read books about politics. I read comic books about politics. And every single day I make a YouTube video about politics. I love politics. But when I meet most people, and I don't even talk to most people about politics because I understand that most people don't care about politics. But when I do get into a conversation with someone and they ask about why I'm interested in politics, and then I'll say, what's your take? I get a lot. The standard answer from a lot of Americans is, I don't care about politics. It's all rigged. My vote doesn't matter. People don't care. Your vote, it's 1 in a million. What's it matter? You can cast your vote, but even if it's not rigged, there's the Electoral College, and the system is going to take your vote and do something else with it. Or if you live in the wrong state, your vote won't matter. All these different things, right? And the vast Americans are very, very disengaged with American politics. Okay, and I just I just want to take them and say no, it all matters. Your vote matters, and your vote is taken very seriously. And your vote is precious, and people take, and the system is set up to treat your vote with dignity and importance, and your vote is counted with care, right? Well, I'd love to say that, but this is the Iowa caucus we're talking about, and look where we're at now. This is literally the beginning bell, right? This is the beginning bell for the primaries and the caucuses. This is the message that the entire Democrat Party is sending for how they're going to manage the primaries and the caucuses. And boy, it is a bad message. So let's talk it through. So what is the message, right? So basically, one, I don't think anything was rigged. I don't think there's any corruption going on. I don't think any of that. I think that this was a complex process, and the Democrats absolutely fumbled the ball. It's more complex than that. The reality is this was a highly complex process. What it required was incredibly careful planning, careful sequencing, and careful execution. And I think the Democrats failed on at least 2 of those. Fully failed on at least 2 of those things. So that's what happened, in my opinion. Now, the bad news is, the problem is, those people who are incredibly disengaged, they are going to read this as a signal that they should remain disengaged. And I'll tell you right now, it's hard to tell them they're wrong. Because the reality is, looking at how the votes in Iowa were handled, counting the votes started on February 3rd. Then it continued on February 4th. It is now February 5th. We have 86% of the vote in right now at the time of this taping. And then we're probably going to be counting votes on February 6th. To count a very small amount of votes for 4 days does not give anyone confidence that the people involved in counting those votes took the process serious, took any of those votes serious, or really valued anyone who was actually voting. That it sends that. Now, I don't think that's true. I think that the people who are counting the votes and are involved in the votes, I think they tried very hard and absolutely failed in execution. That's 2 different things, right? There's capability and there's commitment. I don't think there was a lack of commitment on the part of Iowa or on the part of the Democrats. I think there was, there's no question, there was clearly a lack of capability, okay? So there wasn't a lack of commitment, there was a lack of capability. And the problem is the people who are disenfranchised from politics right now are going to feel incredibly justified to continue to remain disenfranchised. And the people who are like, oh, your vote doesn't matter, I feel very comfortable in not voting, I have XYZ conspiracy theory, the system's rigged, corruption's involved. I don't think any of those statements are true. In fact, I vehemently disagree with every single one of those statements. But I do not disagree that all those people are going to but I do think that the people who believe those statements are absolutely going to use this as fuel to push forward their set opinions and their justification for not voting. And that is the tragedy of the Iowa caucus delays. What does this mean for Andrew Yang? The Iowa caucus delays makes getting Andrew Yang to be president even harder. It is incredibly challenging, and the reason why is Andrew Yang is an incredibly non-intuitive, amazing candidate who is noble and intelligent and a once in 10 generation leader, and he's really special and really unique. But you need unusual, non-intuitive people to come out and really engage in the system. And I think it would have been great if people who had been disenfranchised had been able to really see a really well executed Iowa caucus with complexity, and the Democrats communicate to them, communicate to them literally through effective counting of the votes. Your vote matters. It matters to us personally. It matters to us practically. But the reality is, I don't think they intended to send this message, but I do think the message that was sent was, yes, you disenfranchised voters, yes, your vote does not matter. We don't care about it personally or practically. I do not think that was the intention of any Iowan or any Democrat, but I don't think for 1 second that anybody's going to read what happened as anything but a justification that that voting doesn't matter, which is just a travesty. The Iowa caucus result delay is an absolute travesty. It's going to make Andrew Yang's job even harder. I think Andrew Yang's response to this should be to keep his head up and lean into his endurance. Andrew Yang has incredible endurance. He's going to need it because there are going to continue to be just absolute political body blows that come in like this that are going to just really make it harder and harder for him to campaign. I think the great thing is he has political endurance, and I think he has literal physical endurance, which is going to be needed too, because we're going in June, July, and August, and these people are going to be shaking 1,000 hands a day under a hot American sun, and that's going to be challenging. Good thing Andrew Yang is 44 years old, right, and has a lot of vigor and endurance. I think that's going to be really good and helpful. I am deeply, deeply disappointed by what happened in the Iowa caucus. I'm not vexed with Iowa or the Democrats. I don't think they meant for any of this to happen. I think they thought they were capable of handling this complex task. I really don't question for 1 second their commitment. But no one can question that their capability fell short. And it is deeply, deeply saddening that disenfranchised voters are going to read this as a message that they should remain disenfranchised. And that is an absolute travesty. Andrew Yang is a smarter guy than me. I hope he and his team really sit down and think if there's some way that they can fix this, what seems to be an unfixable problem. I hope they have a better time at approaching that than I do. I personally think they should just forget it ever happened and keep moving forward, and win with the voters that remain and the people who are enfranchised now. And I'll tell you right now, I think we're gonna have to win with the voters who are enfranchised right now. In my opinion, I don't think there's going to be very, very many new voters available at all for the 2020 election. Andrew Yang needs to win this election with the voters who voted in 2016. I think he can do it. I absolutely think he can do it. I think there's virtually nothing that Andrew Yang can't do. I am really, really excited about his campaign and him personally. I don't think there's almost anything there's nothing in 2020 America that can break him. He's stronger than this. He's stronger than the problems of this nation, and that's why he's got my vote. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. What's your opinion on the Iowa caucus results delay? I'd love to hear what you have to think. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.